Hello and welcome to Luxury Listing Interviews. I'm your show's host, Nicholas ZARLENGA, and today we're with Bo the Real Deal and his listing manager, Jason Gao of the Real Deal team in Markham. Team who needs no introduction, super elite club member, top 5% listing agent nationwide, chairman award recipient. The list goes on. It's too many to keep track of here. You'll probably see them in the video. They're all lined up. Are these sports trophies, or these are actually real estate trophies?
They have sports trophy as well as real estate trophy. I used to run marathon, half marathon. So
you do everything.
Yeah, I'm a runner.
Okay.
I like to run.
And you beat me in a planking competition not too long ago as well.
Exactly.
62 CHATEAU Parkway. Make sure you check out that video. All right, Bo. So let's imagine that your business got completely wiped out. You're starting from ground zero. But you have this PhD of real estate in your head from all these years of experience. What's the first thing you do? How do you restart again?
I will start as when I first started in this industry. The most important things you build is your confidence. With the confidence, the sky is the limit.
I like that. All right, Bo, and that's actually a great lead-in to the first question I wanted to start this interview off with, which was, how did you pick Homelife as the brokerage that you wanted to work with?
Well, you probably know Homelife Landmark is the biggest, the number one real estate brokerage in the Chinese community nationwide. Not only in GT, not only in Markham, but in entire Canada.
Wow.
And I also want to see something about Mr. Tony Ma, who is the broker of record of this firm, and he also is the sitting board director of RICO.
Okay.
And you know what? Today he's in the office. Why don't I grab him over?
Sure. Yeah, if he doesn't mind.
Okay. Hi, Nick. I would like to introduce my boss, Mr. Tony Ma, to you. Tony is sitting board director of RICO, which is a governing body of this professional real estate agent.
Wow.
And he also built this empire in the Chinese community nationwide.
For all of Homelife?
Homelife Landmark
across the whole country.
Is the biggest Chinese-owned and operated real estate brokerage in whole Canada nationwide.
Wow. Tony, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Yeah.
Welcome to Luxury Listing Toronto.
Great, thank you.
We'd love to hear the story of how you started off. So you came from China and started this massive brokerage, but what was the journey? Because I'm sure it was quite an exciting story.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so I work as a medical doctor in China. So when I came here, I tried medicine, I tried other profession, but finally my wife and me started to be a real estate agent selling houses.
Wow.
That's back in 1998, and then after a few years...
The year of the dragon.
That's right, yeah. And after a few years with lots of Chinese immigrant influx from China back in the 90s, so we got strong support from Chinese community, and around us lots of Chinese buyers, Chinese sellers. My wife say, why not open a Chinese brokerage? Yeah. So after a few months of preparation, our company started to operating in 2004 in the first week of July.
Wow, that's very exciting. So what was the brokerage industry like at the time? Was Remax around back then? Was it Century 21? What was the landscape? What did it look like?
Oh yeah, Remax, C21, Homelife, all there. And Homelife, I think, already been 20 years back then. So I used to work with another Homelife office.
Okay.
I was the top one team, and then top agent in that office, and also Homelife worldwide.
Wow.
So that's the starting point that my wife and me decide to open our brokerage.
And did you start off in Toronto, or was it in another city? Which part of the country did you start the brokerage?
Oh, we started our brokerage in Don Mills, which is North York. We're located at Don Mills and Lawrence.
Okay.
And the reason for that is it's close to my home and close to the Chinese community. And we started very well.
Wonderful. So what are your plans for the future of Homelife and to continue its growth? What's next for the brokerage?
Well, I would say that, serving our community is our main goal. When we started our brokerage back in 2004, we have 10, 15 people.
Wow.
And back then, our plan was to build up a brokerage, maybe around 100 people, and then we can well manage and then to serve our Chinese community. And slowly, we have more agents join in, not only from Mandarin Chinese community, also people from Taiwan, from Hong Kong, from Southeast Asia, from Europe. So our company grow every day. Until now, we have almost 1,200 agents.
Including
across
the Real
UK.
Deal team.
That's right, yeah. Both Bo Liu and Jason are our top agent. They work together as a team, and they work very well.
Excellent. So I guess as some advice for other agents that might be watching this or future real estate agents,
Yeah.
what sort of advice can you give them to achieve the sort of success or at least start working towards that? What would be like the most important one or two pieces of advice that you would have?
Well, first of all, real estate is a service industry, so we have to serve our client well. And when you talk about service, your service level, your service quality, your sincereness, that is very important. And in the meantime, that your professionalism, your knowledge about the industry, and then what can you do to the clients? When you sell a house, you try to sell the highest price. When you buy a home for the client, then you want to make sure that the home is suitable for the client needs. In the meantime, to give them within them in their budget. Yeah, maybe we can recall this a little bit. Yeah, we can. I did this before. I know that. So I would say, real estate is a service industry. When we talk about service, that we have to serve our people well. So when we sell a house, we want to sell at the price. In the meantime, if we buy a home for the client, we want to make sure that the home suitable for the client needs and well within their financial budget.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're a very busy man, so we very much appreciate your time here. Thank you for being on the show.
Oh, no problem. I always, be available. I want to be here to show my support, to show, to help our agent to build their team, and especially like Bo, the Real Deal team. They have done very well listings, sales in the GTA.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you very
And
much.
your continued success.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is my anchor.
Well, Mr. Ma, it was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you very much, and we
It's
look
my pleasure
forward
too.
to maybe we'll get to sit down with just you for an interview in the future.
Great.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Great. I'm looking forward to.
Excellent. Well,
Thank
you for
you.
being on the
Yeah.
show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so your team has a large amount of listings across the GTA, notably 62 CHATEAU Parkway, over $8 million. Can you tell us a bit about that listing? That's got to be one of your top luxury listings currently.
Yeah, 62 CHATEAU is just one of our luxury listing.
Okay.
We list, like when you define luxury, whenever the price range over like $4 million, that's you cater to different clientele, different needs. As regarding 62 CHATEAU, Jason Gao, my listing manager, he actually is architect behind every tiny bit of the puzzle. He put the puzzle together. I think from your last video, we also can see the phenomenal work he has been putting in and phenomenal result.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What were some of the top selling features you think of that house?
Well, for a luxury home at same as like 62 CHATEAU Parkway, you need to stay focused on what is the main feature to the key message you pass to the potential buyer. So in our collective thoughts, we focus on three things: location, quality, and value. And how you connect these three key points to the potential buyer will make a huge difference.
Now, it's important to note that listing properties like 62 CHATEAU Parkway doesn't just happen overnight. Your team's extremely successful. You've been at it for a number of years, and I think that's an understatement. So you have this massive empire. Let's rewind the clock a little bit. How did you get to this point, to selling $8 million listings and above and more and beyond?
Well, when you're in the real estate business, you deliver a service. Regardless, it's like $400,000 condo or $11 million mansion in Bridal Pass. The fundamental is the same thing. You deliver a service. We start in this career, we stay focused on how we deliver values. From the day one up to today, we still not lose the focus. We deliver values. Both the Real Deal team, we deliver values.
You know, you're a very positive role model in the industry, and there are a lot of real estate agents who look up to you. Did you have any role models that you looked up to when you were starting off in the industry, as you were developing your career? And if you did, what was their influence on you personally and professionally?
My biggest role model is my dad. He have tremendous influence and impact on me, both professionally and personally. I remember he always tell me, regardless of what you do in your career, first and foremost, you have to be a decent human being before you become a decent anything. So that has been like my fundamental principle to guide how I conduct myself personally, how I conduct myself professionally.
He must be very proud of you.
Well, it should be the other way around. I'm very proud of him.
You're an excellent human being and a great role model.
Thank you.
I think you're going to be my role model now.
Well, let's see.
I wanted to ask you, being as successful a realtor as you are, your days must be incredibly full. How do you structure your days, and how important is having a team to help support you throughout this whole process?
Well, you know what? Each individual have different talent. Everybody are good at certain things. But I think one thing is so fair is every single person have 24/7. Not even a second more, not even a second less. How you manage your time will make a huge difference, regardless what you do. In this industry you mentioned, I firmly believe to find the right person to do the right thing is one of the key things I believe in. For example, Jason, my listing manager, sitting right beside us. I'm fortunate to have this caliber of people be part of both the Real Deal team. And for me as a leader, I'm basically trying to dig out their full potential on certain things they are absolutely talented to.
Let's talk a bit about technology and its effect on the real estate industry. I know this is a hot topic. Owners and purchasers have so much access to information today, between MLS of course, but social media and big players from the States like Zillow that are coming to Canada. How has all this impacted the way that business is done, and how has your marketing mix sort of evolved to adapt to this, all this new technology coming into the scene?
Oh, great question. Yes, real estate is as a like traditional industry has been hugely influenced by the new technology. You mentioned about Zillow. You mentioned about like we all know right now like Instagram, Inc., WeChat, YouTube, so on and so forth. This is a tool. I mean, fundamentally change how you're marketing both your service and the product. But in my opinion, I think how you totally capitalize on the new technology is a different things. I mean, all the new technologies help you to outreach, to make the connection. But eventually, I think the fundamental thing actually, I never believe the new technology, the AI will be replace us. End of the day, face-to-face communication is still the key in the whole industry. So like for us, we basically have to find the best balance to marry the new technology with the traditional profession. Then you try to get the most out of it. Like for you, I mean, for us, we try to fully capitalize on the new technology so we can keep our key message crossed to the massive audience. Okay, then that's only the first part. How we prospecting filter through and eventually reach the face-to-face communication like you and me today do the interview is still the key in this industry.
Yeah, and the core to branding, of course, is having a consistent message. So Corvettes are known for being fast. Warren Buffett is known as being a practical investor. Tell me about what's the one trait that the Real Deal team is known for. What's the brand?
Value.
value.
We used to say, it's still on our logo, we deliver values. Like value sounds like so big topic.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, like for example, if you're listing, we are one of the top listing team within the brokerage. We always have what you define the value. Okay, we are not, we cannot create miracles, but how we consistently sell our listing at the top price within that period in that particular neighborhood, that will be called measurable value. Very simple. If this particular house, for example, 62 CHATEAU, okay, if the surrounding listing, let's say, sold for, let's say, 7 million, if we can push it to 7.5, 7.7, that means value obvious to our client, because after all, we are the servant of our client. It's our duty, fundamental duty, to sell the highest price the market possibly can support.
So I think a lot of customers or clients, they are using new technology to looking for new houses and new properties as well. But I think the key point is they are looking for to use those as tools and looking for better service. That's the core value that we deliver. So eventually, what kinds of service that we deliver is pretty much important. So I think whatever new technology coming and jumping into the industry is just more tools for us. So
Helps you enhance your service and provide more value.
you got it. Just like Bo just said, we are married those new technology as tools to serving better for our clients or our customers.
You know, speaking of technology, Jason, as the team's listing manager, how have you been able to utilize technology in the marketing of property, say for example 62 CHATEAU Parkway?
Okay, I would say 62 CHATEAU Parkway is definitely a good example for that. We always take value and take advantages for those new technologies, such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as WeChat for sure, for most Chinese community. We are trying to use those new technologies to trying to broadcasting our information, and we use multimedias, not just a picture, but also some video clips as well, to introduce more regarding to the property and his or the potential prospective clients and customers. And we also use those technology to make more connection. That's pretty more efficient to communicate each other with our potential buyers, right? So I think those new technologies are pretty helpful for our business for sure.
So on that note, have you found that there's been a positive impact on the business through utilizing these additional platforms of technology?
Definitely.
For sure, yeah.
For sure. Basically, you know, we use all the new technology to help us to get the key message out.
Okay.
Once you can massively get that message out, it's not only reach the local, nationwide or global. Okay. We have like incoming inquiry from as far as China, Singapore, and as close as in Markham. So, you know, like as a listing agent, eventually your property only sold to one buyer. So this basically provide us with a very healthy pool prospect. So it's our job to filter them through and try to make the connection with, end of the day, the one buyer.
Wow, it's very exciting.
Exactly.
So speaking of exciting stuff, Toronto's economy is booming. The real estate market has been through a slight correction recently, but it's on its way back up now.
That's an understatement. I don't think it's a slight correction.
Well, exactly. I mean, over the past year, we had the foreign buyer tax introduced. We had stricter lending rules with the banks. Interest rates are rising. And the market is now, though, on its way back up. So why is real estate investment such a good investment, and why, in your mind, does it always recover the way it does?
Well, you're talking about real estate investing. I think in the fundamental of real estate investing is the long-term things. Everybody want to get rich overnight, but there's no such things. And to us, we don't have that crystal balls. Otherwise, we're not sitting here. We will be multi-billionaire. But come down to the fundamental. I think two things still dictate the real estate investing. First, I mean, you need to have a long-term planning. Real estate is not overnight getting rich too. It's a long-term investing. Second thing is like any industry, timing is everything. Supply and demand, that's the driving force of the whole market. If I can give my main advice or point I want to input here is basically you need to have a long-term planning. Give you a very specific example. People maybe go through 2008 real estate downturn, okay? But if you have some investing in the real estate generative with house cash flow, if you hold long enough, your face still very happy face.
Yeah.
However, if you try to make a quick dollar, jump into the market in the early 2017, and you try to get out now, you'll have a lot of tears in your eye.
So I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to the golden rule of real estate: location, 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 right?
Exactly.
Toronto is just one of those places people always gravitate to, move to, want to work in, want to live in. I know our office vacancy rate in Toronto is around 2-3%, extremely low, one of the lowest of all the major cities in North America, actually. So people are moving here to work, and because they're moving here to work, they need a place to live. And so that always pushes the real estate market back up. So as long as Toronto remains a place that people want to come to, work, play, live, I think is the new motto for the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
I think the real estate market will be just fine. So before we go, one last piece of advice for real estate agents, people who are looking to become real estate agents. If you were going to give one piece of advice that could potentially shape a person's future in the industry, what would you say?
Passion. I think as a career, you have to do what you're good at. Okay. First, you have to ask yourself the question, certain things in this industry cannot be taught. It's born in you. Like those qualities such as you just by the way who you are, people are feel comfortable to make the initial connection with you. You are a people person. You can easily communicate the key message to your audience or to your potential client. But most of all, that's just like a pre-qualification. The key is the passion. It's a very tough industry. People always see the good side of a realtor. So you drive the fancy car, live a like fancy life. But a few people really understand you have a 14-hour day work. Sometimes, most likely it's 6 days per week. Sometimes it's 7 days per week. Okay. So it's very, very challenging, very, very hard-working industry. Without passion, I don't think you can really last in this industry. So first, the number one advice I would share is you got to love what you do. You got to have a passion in this industry.
Well, you have a lot of passion for real estate. You have a lot of passion for sports as well. I can see from all these awards, which are a mix of real estate and sports, as I understand. If you were going to say real estate was a sport, what type of sport would you pick and why?
Well, I'm a runner, like a marathon. In real estate, it's not a 100 sprinter. It's a marathon. So what's the key to be on top is be consistent. Like you build a house. Okay, you cannot build a house overnight, but every single day, if you put a bricks there, eventually you will build something. I think the common mistake I see from my eye is, very talented young kids. They try to come to the industry. They work so hard for 6 months. Then they say, it's not for me. So being consistent is the key. But this has to have a passion driving that.
And not just in real estate, but in almost everything in life, consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Bo, Jason, pleasure having you. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for being on the show. We look forward to speaking with you again. And for everybody watching, click the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified of future videos that are posted. Let us know what you thought of the video in the comments section. And as always, keep it luxury, my friends.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next time we should not doing the plank. We can go for a run.
That's right. We can go for a run. You can kick my butt in that instead.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Nick.
Pleasure.